Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the July 6th Al-Anon readings, Encouraged to Change, and a little time for myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I will take a moment and look this over. The question is, when do I find it challenging to keep an open mind? And this person starts off by saying that keep an open mind is not their favorite slogan because it's hard work. This person says when they keep an open mind, they are able to receive wisdom and help. It helps them, when they keep an open mind, it helps them to take their own inventory, restore relationships, and develop their talents. Today's reminder: when we use our gifts and talents in Al-Anon, we become more deeply aware of who our higher power wants us to be, just ourselves. We have more opportunities to do all these things when we keep an open mind. And the quote is from Courage to Change. We can adjust change easier if we don't get too attached to any one approach of doing things. That makes a lot of sense. So when do I find it challenging to keep an open mind? Definitely when I'm hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Halt. If any of those things are true, then it's hard for me to keep an open mind. Maybe when I'm resisting what is, when I am not accepting situations as they are, or the present moment as it is, then I think it's hard for me to keep an open mind. But when I'm relaxed and comfortable and content, I think I have an open mind about most things. And I think it's true for all of us, but I can only speak for myself. I think that based on my own experiences, that I have certain thoughts, and I have them because that's what I know. But it's really important for me to always remember that they're only my thoughts because that's just been my experience. So I find myself quite often actually getting caught that there are so many other ways to do things. But I think it's not bad to be caught realizing that, the best thing for me to do, and I realize that, is to be open to other ways of thinking. And that's the key for me, is to not be so rigid that when I realize that there's another way of thinking, that I don't like immediately dismiss it. And then sometimes I entertain other thoughts and come back to my own thinking, that wasn't right. But I guess that's just life. We do the best with what we know at the time. I know I'm always doing my best, for sure. I'm always doing my best. I'm going to take a moment to look this over. This page is about service in Al-Anon, and serving just in our lives in general. It starts off by feelings of, it isn't fair, I don't deserve everything that I've been through. But then it talks about a Just for Today pamphlet, and I'm going to paraphrase the prayer in it. It's basically saying to serve is the giving. The giving is just as important as the receiving. And instead of focusing on questioning our own lives, it may be more helpful sometimes to ask what we can give of ourselves. By reaching out to help others, we move beyond our problems. And it's talking about, in Al-Anon, we can set up chairs, welcome newcomers, lead a meeting. And it says, once we are able to make positive contributions, we find that our self-pity is replaced by self-esteem. That makes sense. Today's reminder talks about being an instrument of God's peace, Peace. It's beautiful. And the quote is from John Gardner. We obtain meaning in our lives when we are serving. And so the only thing that comes to my mind about this, because I agree with that, but I think that it's important to put first things first. So I do agree that service in meetings is, it doesn't take a lot from us. Like when I'm the timekeeper at my meeting, it's not taking a lot from me. When I chair a meeting or when I read the steps at a meeting, that helps me to feel like I'm I'm a legitimate part of the meeting. But I think, at the beginning of this reading, it was talking about, like in other areas of life, helping others, and I think that can be a slippery slope for me and other people I know, because sometimes I have to remember to put myself first. I have to take care of myself, because if I don't take care of myself, I have nothing to give others. And especially when we're in a crisis situation, it doesn't mean we can't, be a timekeeper at our meeting, but it might mean that we I don't know. What am I trying to say? Like just not give too much of ourselves more than we can give because we don't want to deplete ourselves without taking care of ourselves first. I hope that makes sense the way I said it. I just know that like in my situation, well, in more than one situation in my life, I have to set boundaries. Like I volunteer, but sometimes I don't volunteer like the whole time that I could volunteer. Sometimes I volunteer for less time because that's what works for me. And when visiting my father and my stepmother, and I don't think I've mentioned her in a while, either one of them, they're doing okay. Um, my stepmother fell the other day. She had to go to the emergency room. She had a CAT scan. She was fine. There was no damage, and she was not admitted to the hospital. So that was good. I find a lot of peace in visiting them and spending time with them, but it also like even though I'm not there the whole day, it pretty much takes up my whole day because my energy is gone by the time I'm there and back. So I just have to balance that. Like this week, I may only go once instead of twice. I don't know because they seem to be in a pretty stable place. And like I'm really visiting, I'm not really helping that much at this point. I'm just visiting, which is lovely. Um, but that whole situation, because of the dementia, because of their age in general, that whole situation is ongoing. Um, but anyway, that's just how it applies to my life at this moment. We'll close out with a serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.